It all started with a flicker. A single, grainy file landed on my desk, sent from an anonymous source deep within Brazil. The message attached was almost cryptic. "You look for the unknown. Here it is. I've seen hoaxes before. Blurry photos of supposed sea serpents, audio recordings of so-called Bigfoot howls. You get thick skin for this stuff. But this was different. There was an unnerving quality, raw, unfiltered terror. It wasn't slick or produced, just a few seconds of chaotic, shaky cam panic, filmed in the dead of night, deep in the Amazon. Footage that makes the hair on your arms stand up. My team gathered around the monitor, lights dimmed. We played it again and again. Each viewing revealed another odd detail. The sounds hit first, a guttural metallic shriek. A sound unlike any cataloged animal call, pure aggression, a territorial roar with ancient weight. Then movement in the background, a hulking shape blotting out foliage, moving with a speed and weight that seemed impossible. A visual puzzle, an auditory puzzle, not a tourist stunt. The clip was time-stamped, dated weeks before it reached me. To understand the footage, you first have to understand the place it came from. The Amazon rainforest isn't just a patch of trees, it's a living, breathing continent of green. Spanning over 2 million square miles, a realm of staggering biodiversity and profound isolation. Our destination, a remote corner of Amazonas, Brazil, locals call it O Fim do Mundo, the end of the world. Getting there requires a multi-day journey by plane, a rickety bush plane, and a long, winding boat trip up narrowing tributaries. The further you go, the modern world melts away into primal, untamed wilderness. This is a world that operates on its own terms. Heat presses down like a heavy, wet blanket that never lifts. The air smells of damp earth, decaying leaves, and the sweet perfume of countless unknown blossoms. Every surface is alive, crawling with insects, slithering with reptiles, and draped in vines as thick as an arm. The canopy is so dense sunlight struggles through, plunging the undergrowth into perpetual twilight, beautiful and deeply intimidating. You are not a visitor here, you are an intruder. The jungle watches with a million unseen eyes. Let's break down exactly what the camera captured. In those few, heart-stopping seconds, the footage begins in chaos. The camera is low to the ground, dropped, being held by someone crouching in fear. It's night. A weak headlamp beam cuts frantically through the oppressive jungle darkness. You can hear panicked, shallow breathing. Then the shriek, part metallic grind, part animalistic rage, loud enough to distort the camera's microphone, a wave of sonic violence that seems to shake the very air. Not a jaguar, not a howler monkey, not anything I've ever heard. The camera pans wildly to the left. That's when we see it. For about 2 seconds. A massive figure partially illuminated at the edge of the headlamp's beam, maybe 30 or 40 yards away. It's huge, over 7 feet tall. Broad, powerful build dwarfs the surrounding trees, its body covered in thick, matted fur, dark and shaggy. The most unsettling feature is its movement. Not running on all fours like a bear, not running on all fours like a jaguar. It's upright, lurching with a bipedal gait. It takes 2 long, powerful strides, crashing through dense undergrowth like dry twigs, then disappears into impenetrable blackness. The creature in the footage forces us to look again at the legend of the Mapinguari, not as folklore but as a potential eyewitness account. The stories told by indigenous tribes once dismissed as superstition, suddenly take on a chilling new relevance. Across the Amazon basin, Brazil, Peru, Bolivia, the descriptions are remarkably consistent. The creature is almost always described as a large biped, foul-smelling, covered in reddish-brown fur, dark fur. Many legends claim its hide is so thick that it is impervious to arrows and even bullets like the armored shell of an armadillo. One of the most bizarre and persistent details is the mouth located on its abdomen. While this sounds like pure fantasy, some cryptozoologists have offered a fascinating, if speculative, explanation. They theorize that this mouth could be a scent gland similar to the kind found on peccaries or skunks. Once the footage started circulating in our small community of explorers and researchers, the reactions were, predictably, all over the map. The first camp was the believers, cryptozoologists, fellow adventurers who have spent their lives chasing down stories like this one. For them, the footage was a bombshell. They pointed to the creature's fluid, non-mechanical movement and its sheer size as evidence against a simple hoax. Then came the scientific establishment. Their response was one of extreme skepticism. Could it be a known animal, perhaps distorted by poor lighting and panic? Large black jaguar, giant anteater. These are plausible theories, but they don't fully account for apparent height or distinctly bipedal locomotion. The most cynical voices cried hoax. They suggested a person in a gorilla suit, but the logistics are staggering. Transport a heavy custom-made suit deep into the jungle. In many ways, the hoax theory is just as complicated as the creature's existence. One of the most compelling arguments against the Amazon monster is the simple fact that the jungle is already full of real-life monsters. Take the giant anteater, for example. These animals can grow up to 7 feet long and when threatened, will stand on their hind legs, using their powerful tail for balance. They have 4-inch-long claws on their front feet that they use to tear open termite mounds, but which they will also use to defend themselves with deadly force. A giant anteater rearing up in the dark could certainly look like a hulking, monstrous beast. What if the creature in the video isn't a supernatural monster or a man in a suit but a living fossil? After weeks of analysis debate, a grueling expedition into the heart of the jungle, we were left with more questions than answers. Our own trip to the location yielded no definitive proof. We found strange tracks near a riverbank, large, oddly shaped impressions that didn't match any known local animal. We recorded strange vocalizations at night, deep, guttural calls our audio experts couldn't identify. But we never laid eyes on the creature itself. The jungle guards its secrets well. We were left with the same grainy footage we started with a puzzle with 1,000 missing pieces. The central question remains, what was filmed in the Amazon that night? Was it a hoax, an elaborate prank played on the world? The technical analysis says no, but the possibility can never be completely ruled out. Was it a known animal, seen under duress and distorted by fear and darkness? This is the rational scientific explanation, but it feels incomplete. It doesn't quite fit the bipedal movement, the sheer size, or the unique, terrifying sound that the creature made. It feels like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Or was it something else entirely? A creature unknown to science, a remnant of a lost world living alongside humans for millennia, hidden by the vastness of the forest and protected by the veil of local legend. Is the Mapinguari real? Today is September 18th, 2025. Years have passed since that grainy footage first sent shockwaves through the community of the curious. The clip has been dissected, debated, debunked 100 times over on the internet. And yet, it endures. It endures because it speaks to a primal part of us. The part that looks into the darkness beyond the campfire and wonders what might be looking back. It represents the thrill of the unknown, the idea that our world is not yet fully mapped, not yet fully explained. The file sits on my server, a constant reminder of the expedition and the mystery that still lies unsolved, deep in the South American jungle. From time to time, new stories trickle out of the Amazon. A hunter reports a terrifying roar that sends his dogs running in fear. A remote village shares tales of giant, unidentifiable tracks found in the mud after a heavy rain. A pilot flying over an uncharted region claims to have seen a large, dark shape moving through the trees below. These are just stories, whispers on the wind with no hard evidence to back them up, but they keep the legend alive. It's a persistent presence in the world's largest wilderness. The mystery of the Amazon monster is a perfect storm of the known and the unknown. It all combines to create a powerful and enduring enigma. It's a story without an ending, which is precisely why it's so captivating. We are left to fill in the blanks with our own fears and our own sense of wonder. So, is the Amazon monster real? The honest answer is, I don't know, and that's the beauty of it. The search for answers is what drives us. It's what pushes us to the edge of the map, into the green hell, chasing shadows and whispers. The footage could be the first real glimpse of a creature that has eluded science for centuries, or it could be nothing at all. But one thing is certain. Somewhere in that vast, impenetrable green, the mystery remains. The question isn't just whether the monster is real. The question is it still out there right now, moving through the darkness beneath the canopy, and what will happen the next time someone points a camera at it? This is the nature of true exploration. It rarely ends with a neat and tidy answer. More often than not, it ends with a deeper, more profound mystery. The footage acts as a gateway, pulling you into a world of what if. It challenges our comfortable assumptions about the world. There are still dark places on the map, places where monsters might still roam. The video doesn't give us the monster, but it gives us the possibility of the monster. And sometimes, that is even more compelling.